Hello, my name is Balaussa and I'm going to present my research that I have been conducting during this semester. Topic of my research was the challenges faced by junior to foreign language students, briefly TEFL students in speaking English. About content, so what I'm going to tell you about. First of all, I'm going to identify the purpose of my research and my research questions. Then, who were my participants and which methods I was using during this research. And I'm going to outline some literature review, and I'm going to tell you results and findings of this research. Finally, I'm going to tell you about further ideas and to conclude my research. So, the purpose of my research was to identify and analyze challenges in speaking English among junior to first students and to provide some effective strategies to help them overcome speaking difficulties. Consequently, this study attempts to provide answers to the following research questions. Firstly, what are the common challenges of junior to first students in speaking English? Secondly, what are the most common strategies to overcome difficulties in speaking English? About participants. So their participants were 47 junior TEFL students from the Education and the Humanities faculty of the Zholamanova University. Before filling it, they were able to read a consent letter which gives full information about purpose and the confidentiality of their research. So in the research was used the descriptive methodology for data collection on the degree to which students learn English speaking skills. Consequently, the descriptive research describes and explains conditions to determine general standards and the students' ability to internalize speaking skills. Accordingly, the research paper was obtained from a questionnaire that was distributed to random sample of junior TEFL students. Since there was descriptive method of instrumentation used to collect the data for this study and the questionnaire, therefore, the researcher utilized the quantitative method to analyze data collection. So now about literature review, I have been looking for some of the research that were related to my topic, the challenges in speaking English. Noonan or Young Diana's studies were the most fundamental researchers in this field. So, according to some researchers in language teaching and learning, there are several problems students face it in speaking English. Noonan argues that among the 4 essential skills in language learning, so speaking is considered the most difficult to master. Similarly, Orr highlights some of the problems faced by students in speaking. Speaking problems consist of low participation, lack of vocabulary, students' inhibition, and use of mother tongue. Despite of the various challenges in speaking English, there are several effective strategies for overcoming these difficulties. Young and Dina claims that successful learners of English as a second language before ESL and English as a foreign language before EFL have their own strategies to improve their speaking skills. The most important is the learning strategy. So learning strategies are the steps students to take to improve their learning. Proper uses of language strategies to improve learners' control over their own language by developing language skills, increasing motivation and confidence in the learning process. This means that EFL and the ESL learners have to know the strategy of speaking in order to fully master English language and develop their skills to improve it. Regarding to the trials study, and there are strategies such as collecting ideas, organizing them in the best order, selecting an appropriate language in which he should communicate with others. So, about results and findings. The results and findings illustrated that psychological factors such as anxiety, fear of making mistakes, and worries not being understood were the main problems for English speaking difficulties. So followed by linguistic factors such as lack of vocabulary, insufficient grammar, and insufficient sentence organization, followed by language learning environments, so such as rare English conversation, insufficient practice. Moreover, the students use different strategies to overcome the challenges that face it in speaking, and special attention is paid to linguistic accuracy through repeated practice, memorizing expression. In light of this, the present study strive to provide helpful suggestions for resolving students' conversational problems. So, finally, the statement of the problem was to determine poor mastery of the necessary speaking skills among TOEFL students, which need to be developed in order to improve academic performance and have good prospects in their future. Consequently, the results demonstrate the psychological factors that a majority of the students faced in speaking was the fear of making mistakes, anxiety, worries not being understood as the main barriers in speaking English. Furthermore, lack of vocabulary and insufficient organization of the sentence is a predominant difficulty that limited students' opportunities and abilities to speak English fluently. So a learning environment with a fair English conversation also severely impaired their ability to speak English. In addition, the results showed that the majority of participants of the study placed more emphasis on linguistic accuracy in order to improve their speaking ability in attempt to collect more in-depth data. Interviewing and classroom observation should be used as a complementary approach in future research to examine the actual use of strategies. Consequently, there is an urgent need for in-depth qualitative research to provide a detailed description of how students relate to oral communication in English. Thank you for your attention.